Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. My name's Heliax, and last time we finished up here in the Halls of Silence. We got Andra's witness in the Chamber of Tears, and we decided that we would sacrifice the Low Tide monks, let them do their duty, and please Andra, hopefully. And but now we're gonna go up. Hopefully the High Abbot will be pleased with what we've done, and will let us enter the reliquary, where we can say no to the eyeless invasion, and everything is hunky-dory. Hopefully. One can hope. And hopefully, the rest of the fights will not be as tough as those Low Tide monks. Those guys kicked my ass. Oh my god. Speaking of kicking my ass, let's save it. Just in case. Hello.
Is it done then? And do you have the witness?
It is done. Give Andra's witness.
I know what it is to use that relic to call the flood. Even though it is necessary, even though it is merciful, it will stay with you. Always.
Nah, I've already forgotten about it.
One day it will be a new Tidebringer's turn to call the flood, when I am down there. And then another for you. Only then will we be free of it. Free of the memory.
He nods and puts a hand on your shoulder. The touch is tentative, and he withdraws his hand almost immediately.
Come, meet me upstairs outside the reliquary. There is one more thing to be done to complete the rising.
Do you need an escort to go with you? Are you sure? Hopefully he didn't realize I wasn't the Tidebringer when he touched me. That would suck. I guess it wouldn't be so bad because, didn't have to fight all these guys. Up we go. Hello.
The Vale of Tears is only to be crossed by the High Abbot. Andra's witness is the key. Through the Vale is the reliquary. When we are done here, pass into the reliquary, and your responsibilities will be revealed to you.
780 experience gained.
The final step of the rising requires that you use Andra's witness to seal me below with my brothers and sisters.
Kauto says nothing for a moment, lost in thought. High Abbot Kauto? He snaps out of his trance.
Forgive me. The rising. The final step.
He clears his throat.
A slight correction. You will not be sealing us in the halls of silence.
The other Andrites look at each other with furrowed brows.
What? After all that?
The only way I will allow you to become the High Abbot is if you can kill me, and those who stand with me, here and now.
That wasn't what you said earlier.
I have made up my mind. Have you ever swum in the open ocean, Tidebringer?
I don't think Klutzy has ever seen the ocean. Actually, I'm not sure. I think the Republics might be near the ocean. No, never.
When you swim in the ocean, you are at the mercy of the current and the waves. It requires a great deal of trust. When I was a young man in Rawatai, I would paddle out in a small kayak and go spearfishing in the Gulf. One day, when I was swimming, I was caught in a rip current and pulled miles from my boat. I stayed afloat long as I could, but there was no getting to safety. It was night, and the water was black. I took a final breath and sunk below the surface. Then there came a glow beneath me. It was a moon ray the size of a caravel, if you can imagine such a creature. I saw it swimming up toward me, and even as things began to grow dark around me, I knew I was safe.
Go on.
I awoke on shore. That day, I pledged myself to Andra, because I knew she had seen me safely through, and that she always would. The glow of that moon ray has always been a beacon in my life. If I am sealed beneath, I will be forced to part with it. And 1,000 other memories that make me what I am. I will die, afraid and alone.
What about everything you said? About trusting Andra, surrendering your memories to her.
I thought I would be ready. My trust in Andra was absolute. But I am weaker than I imagined. I will defeat you and stay on as High Abbot. Or I will die here, knowing who I am. Either would be better.
You others who stand with Kauto, are you so cowardly, or will you be true to your faith? No one responds, but a few of the monks exchange looks. You seem to have made an impact, at least with some of them. Kauto turns to them.
I have seen what lies in store. I do not wish that fate for any of you. Let us serve Andra in other ways.
Most of the Andrites nod. A few are non-committal. Kauto turns back and locks eyes with you. Come. One final test, Tidebringer. Game just couldn't just let us have, you know. I like this. It would be cool if I could convince him otherwise. Even if it was like a really hard test. Maybe that perception test would have led to it. But I'm just going to say this now. As cool as this is that he couldn't go through with it, I think it would have been so much cooler if he went through with it and I didn't have like hardly any combat in this quest. I think that would have been really, really neat. Really brave of the game too, because not a lot of RPGs do that. And by not a lot of, I can't think of any that really allow you to do something like that. Oh well. At least we managed to convince some of them, so it's only 4 of them. And one of them was a Tide Fist, and one of them was a sword. So, okay.
Hey.
You're gonna go here after him.
Tell me.
You'll go get him.
Yes.
You'll go get him. You attack him. You're gonna go buff first. Oh shit, there's one down here too.
Lead the way.
You go here. Okay. Use our powerful magic. Because why not? Chaotic Orb. Right there on Kauto. Interdiction. Do one of these. I got stunned somehow. Okay, move away from him. Because, God, I hate this game. I know she's stunned, but, like, I hate it. Like, stop going after my main character. She hasn't even done anything. Okay. There's one of those. Give us some of this. Oh, Aloth is dead. Okay. Cleansing Flame. Feels like there's a lot more of them than there were before.
Hey.
Okay, he's healing. I don't like that. Kill Kauto. Kill him. Damn coward. Oh, he's knocked out. Never mind. Yeah, we can use that on him. Okay. All of you guys on him. Good job over there.
Zawa is ready.
Okay, it looks like we're gonna be fine. It's a good thing we were able to convince some of them to fight with us. Oh, one of them survived. Good. And he's just like, I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
Hey.
Yes.
All right. Robes of the Tidebringer. Ooh. This might actually be useful. Damage reduction 7. Same recovery speed. Oh, this gives intellect, lore, and damage reduction though. But we could probably enchant this to be better. Grants martyr on unconscious. Friendly AoE, 30% attack speed. That'd be good since everybody goes after me, no matter what I do. 25% against charm and confusion, 10% against dominated. Okay. The ceremonial garb of the Tidebringer, a devout Andrite elected by their conclave to take on the mantle of leadership at the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. I think we're gonna wear that. I think it's time for a new outfit, you know? Doesn't look very warm, but I am a fire god-like, so I guess being warm's not really a consideration. There we go. Alright. Let's get into this reliquary. The water flows upward from a thin slit. Wait, can I just walk in? Oh, there we go. Just had to take a step forward. Alright. The reliquary is in a big old skull. Okay. It's not ominous at all. Let me save it. Just in case there's more fighting. What's up here? A door? Where's that lead to? Hall of Presence. Oh, that's the big crystal.
I knew the Abbey was a secret, but I had no idea.
The cracks on the jawbone suggest that a forceful blow separated it from its skull. Judging by the distance to the nearby skull, a tremendous force severed this vertebrae from the rest of its giant body. What the hell is this thing? The structure behind this giant ribcage appears to have been built around it. Yeah. Okay, and then we got steps over here, too. And then steps over here, too. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Oh. Stay to continue to explore the area. Okay. What do we have here? Lodged between rows of crystalline rock, a large fragment of metal protrudes. It looks as though it might be possible to pry it loose. Pull out the metal fragment. At your touch, the splinter of metal begins to glow orange. Heat surges up your hand and arms and envelops you with such intensity you feel as though you are melting down. The heat spreads to the world around you, turns it orange and then yellow and then white. The ground, the sky, everything around you drips in molten globs and begins to take shape beneath you as if an invisible mold. You and the shard are the last things to melt and fall, and your addition to the molten pool completes the shape of an immense hammer. The metal cools as quickly as it had heated. The handle is gripped now by two great leathery hands, and the hammer is cocked back over a shoulder as broad and mottled as a hilltop. The wielder whirls around and heaves the hammer, and you are flying upward for what seems like ages into the airless blackness above. As you spin, you catch glimpses of a rock large enough to be a moon. It is close, far too close to the world. The force of the hammer, or the force of the impact, shatters hammer and stone alike. The rock is redirected outward, but a section of the front face is cleaved off and begins to fall, splintering apart at the cracks. In 100,000 fragments blossoming outward in all directions, debris showers the atmosphere, trailing smoke and fire. Below, land and sea are far off, but gradually rising up. Look to the sea. The largest of the fragments, wide as a city, barrels down in a fiery cocoon. Its size reduces at the edge as the edges immolate, but it won't burn up in time. It lands silently in the distant ocean, sending a column of water skyward and radiating ripples that spread like wrinkles in fabric. Then the sound comes tearing up through the sky. It sounds like thunder. Look to the land. Features are becoming clearer by the moment as you streak toward the earth. You are lodged in an enormous boulder, falling among other smaller fragments that heat and burst around you on all sides. Beneath you, snow-capped mountains rise up, dotted here and there by cities of stone and Audra. The impact will be the destruction of all of them. The shadow of your rock fragment is visible now, getting larger by the second. You are moments away from striking the ground when a massive shape throws itself into your path. The last thing you hear sounds like another rumbling impact, but that isn't it. It's a chuckle, relieved, breathless. You hear 2 words. Made it. Everything goes dark. You open your eyes. The metal hammer fragment has come free, and you hold it in your hand. It is warm to the touch. Whoa. The air around you is suddenly turbulent, spiteful. A cold, damp wind whips your face. Salt crystals collect in your nostrils and the creases of your eyes. The floor below you becomes blue-gray and glassy, churning and rolling, and when you fall, you crash through the water. Violent waves hurl and spin you. Something slithers around your ankle, seizes you with incredible strength, drags you down into silty depths.
This is very good.
Zawa. When the pulling stops, you are hovering at the center of an endless blue abyss. You can see neither surface nor floor. You seem to be facing downward, but there is no way to be sure. A voice sounds from everywhere at once, and the immense pressure wave of each utterance sends you reeling.
Deceitful wretch, grave robber, you who dig for that which you did not bury, speak, explain yourself, and be judged.
Shit, we're talking to the gods. Hi, Andra. I think you're really cool, by the way. I seek a means of defeating an army that threatens my lands. I meant no harm. I came in search of answers. I do only what I must to survive. If I am to be judged for it, so be it. Who are you calling wretch, wench? I was looking for the privy. I seek a means of defeating an army that threatens my lands.
You seek what is mine, what was rightfully lost.
The outburst propels you, sending you end over end.
Your actions speak for themselves. The battery opened, the forge ignited. You set free souls that hid from me, that stole from me and evaded my judgment. The dwarves sealed their own fate. The forge was meant to be forgotten. And now, here you are again, denying peace to the buried.
The turbulence around you calms. Silt settles like a slow exultation, and the vast darkest seascape beyond the murk fades in. Rays of light trickle down from far above onto green-gold columns of kelp that rise from the depths and sway back and forth in the current. Fish and mollusks patrol them in groups of hundreds and thousands. The nearest pass you with watchful eyes. What do you mean the forge is meant to be forgotten? What does it matter if something is remembered or forgotten? It is in the past in either case. What are the bones of one god doing sealed in the temple of another? Wait, what god? Is it Abaddon? Was that Abaddon? The army that destroyed the dwarves, the Eyeless, are they yours? What do you mean the forge is meant to be forgotten?
It was never meant for mortal use. Such power, such truths lie within it. It can bring only ruin. When the Pargrunin came to the White March, they were peaceful. They shared common beliefs and purpose. Their visions for the Forge tore them apart. You have seen this for yourself.
True.
They would have destroyed themselves in the end.
How convenient that we'll never know. I don't like that these are only 2 options here, but I mean, I feel like Klessi would be kind of awestruck right now, talking with the gods, or with a god. Yeah, we'll never know. I don't like how we put this, like how convenient that we'll never know, but yeah.
You need only look to the history of your own civilization for assurance. How many wars, how many fallen empires might have been averted if only their leaders could forget the objects of their ambition. I mourned the loss of the Pargrunin. Misfortune brought them here. They did not deserve to end so soon.
What are the bones of one god doing sealed in the temple of another?
Do not play coy with a god, Watcher. I know you have seen his death. I feel it whenever a forgotten thing is taken from me. Abydon did not deserve to die here. This place, it was the least I could do to give his remains some privacy.
Huh. It was Abaddon. But he's still worshipped. Like, heavily, right? God, and... So that means Eothas could actually be dead. If Abaddon is actually dead. The least you could do?
The least I could do for ending his life.
Light drains from your surrounding. The kelp forest becomes a cove of black tendrils, stark and twisting as regret.
I called the moon down to me, Ioni brother. It was against his wishes. He would not listen to reason, would not listen to me. In his madness, he splintered the moon, but it was not enough. The greatest of the fragments still fell toward that which he would protect. In the end, he took position where it would fall, and absorbed the impact himself.
I thought Balafa and Kalta were the moons.
Ioni brother is their smaller sibling, tiny next to them.
Small enough that the world would survive its impact. But why the temple? Why the secrecy?
That time has been forgotten now, and so his death belongs to me. Everything he was before the impact.
But you slew another god. Surely the other gods know this. Surely Abaddon must know. Current surges through the kelp bed, pushing each plant sideways like saplings in a hurricane and propelling you backward amidst a torrent of wayward fish.
No! He cannot know! He must never know! Understand, he was not always as he is now. His body was not all he left behind. He was devoted to progress and industry from the beginning. But so too was he devoted to preservation.
So he's not dead, right? I'm guessing gods have like a reincarnation sort of thing. Maybe it just takes some time.
In those times, he would let nothing go. Nothing could be forgotten. His will was iron long before his body.
And by the sound of it, maybe they change a little bit when they're reborn. Preservation. So that was why he went so far to oppose you. What was it he was trying to preserve? That's why he went so far to oppose you?
We agreed long ago, all of us, not to alter the course of Kith's civilization. Not directly. Not unless there were no other choice. But in this matter, there was no other choice. He understood that as well as anyone. It was for duty that he opposed it. I would have stopped it if I could, but by then it was too late.
What was it he was trying to preserve?
Time has finished much of what I started. I cannot tell you that, mortal, for fear of undoing all its costly work.
You make it sound as though you were the sane one.
The other gods knew what had to be done, but they lacked the will to go through with it. Even gods have their attachments. To erase all knowledge of such a grand thing required unthinkable devastation. The Eastern Reach, Deadfire. Mine was the only solution. When I called down Ioni brother, they remained silent. Even Abaddon. He knew it was for the best, but he tried to stop it all the same. Perhaps deep down I knew he would. I should have expected it. I could have stopped it.
I want to ask you about something else.
You may ask.
What does it matter if something is remembered or forgotten? It's in the past in either case.
Memories are the spirits of the past. You of all people should know their sway on the present, Watcher.
Perhaps more than I care to admit.
Mortals measure the worth of their lives in memory. Who will remember me? How long until I am forgotten? Memory governs every thought, informs every choice. It can fuel passion, understanding, love. Or it can create obsession, madness. You have seen it plague many souls in your travels. Consider the old Watcher who inherited unspeakable crimes from birth. Or the fisherman whose life became a sentence the day he killed his sister. Or the Glonfathen boy for whom an old medallion was worth more than all the fruits of his labors. Or the villager whose guilt led him down into a temple in search of the priests he condemned with his silence. They could be free from their burdens, if only they could forget.
Their problems go deeper than memory. Simply forgetting does not make them go away. Their burden exists for a reason. Why should they be allowed to forget? If only it were so easy. Simply forgetting does not make them go away.
For some, perhaps. But for many, the memory is all that remains of it. It has been many years since the Takan people were assimilated. Why then should your Nalpazka warrior still hope to free them?
There is no longer hope of freeing the Takan. The failure is part of Zawa now.
This memory is your tether, Nalpazka. How free your mind would be without it.
The memory of your failure does seem to have stunted your development, Zawa. Zawa has suffered at the hands of his memories and has made him strong. He failed his people and earned his sorrow. It has made him strong. Zawa smiles faintly and nods back, seeming to think on your words.
The fires of Cold Morn died long ago, yet vengeance still burns in this construct's mind. What is vengeance but a fire fueled by memory that consumes the soul?
A fun way to kill time.
Cold Morn is not but a memory now. If it no longer intruded on her thoughts, no longer haunted her dreams, she could live a life of her choosing.
She endured things that no one should have to remember. Cold Morn is part of her identity now. It gives her purpose. I shudder to think what that might entail. This one's an interesting one. I think Zawa ended up in a better place at the end of his quest chain than the devil has. However, if she forgot about Cold Morn, I don't know, what would that make her think about her current state? Right? She'd always wonder, why is she what she is? And she could never know, right? That'd be another kind of suffering, I feel like. Cold Morn is part of her identity now. Yeah, it gives her purpose.
So often do we confuse memory with identity. But memory is who we believe we were, not who we actually are.
I don't know about that, Miss God.
She would have a different identity now, a more peaceful existence, if she could forget what led her down this path.
I don't think so. I think it would be a different kind of existence. It wouldn't be such a hateful existence, perhaps. So in that sense, I guess it'd be more peaceful, but like I said, I think she'd be searching as to why she has become a construct. And eventually that would lead her to discovering the terrible things she's done, and then kind of like having an awakening, right? In a sense, it would kind of be her searching for her past life. But it'd be more possible to discover where her past life is because other people know her and know what she's done. So she would have to erase everybody's memory of that. Right? It was a very public thing what happened with the Devil of Karak. Same with Zawa. I feel like that would be a very public thing too.
But I would lose my favorite conversation starter.
The light filtering down from the surface seems to focus on Maneha.
Would your life not have a better course, Amawa, if the faults of another lifetime were not dragging you down?
I used to think so. But turning your back on something doesn't make it go away.
And I made a comment that I didn't know they lived for 500 years. But I think, was it her old soul, her old self? The awakened part of her that did that crime? Or do they actually live for that long? I can't remember.
Just makes it easier for someone to stick a knife in your spine.
The source of those wounds is long gone. The memory was all that could do you harm.
I would leave my own memories behind if I could, but they haunt me, whether or not I remember them. There was value in the memory, despite the harm. Responsibility runs deeper than memory. There's value in the memory.
Even when problems have run their course, memory can be the stone that sinks you into the abyss.
Be that as it may, I must reject your moral paradigm because it engenders an incomplete conception of the good that fails to consider the importance of testing the soul. Yeah, sure. What she said.
Indeed. And what has led you to conclude you know better than a god, mortal?
Your supposition that peace of mind is tantamount to the overall good is a flawed premise. Empirically, we know that struggle and inner turmoil strengthen the soul as often as they strangle it. Zawa nods appreciatively.
My master could not have said it better.
That hardly sounds like an improvement on inner peace. Is that the extent of your argument?
No, actually. I submit to you that life is a framework to test the soul, and that an untested soul withers from disuse. Consequently, it is better to test the soul in order that it should thrive. If it breaks, it is no worse off than if it were not tested at all.
Your reasoning is interesting, mortal. Perhaps there is something to it. But it is not my will to simply do good. Those broken souls that fail your test, those are the ones I love most. For no other god will have them. What small mercies they ask of me, I will always grant. Was there something else, mortal?
Why'd you pull down Aoni Brather?
The great conundrum of a god is how close to become with your subjects. Too far and they lose hope. Too close and your own judgment fails.
I guess dropping a rock on their heads is one way to fix that.
Civilizations are meant to ebb and flow. Allow them to persist for too long in power or knowledge, and you invite catastrophe. There was a time when we let our sympathies get the better of us. When memories were allowed to persist that should have been washed away. The other gods could not be moved to act. I did what had to be done without them.
You're talking about the Ingwithans.
I speak of what is forgotten. I failed that day, but my purpose was achieved in the end. I will not dredge up the memory to satisfy idle curiosity.
The army that destroyed the dwarves, the Eyeless, are they yours?
What the world casts aside, I take into my care. A thing may be forgotten, but it is never alone as long as I am here. They were lost children, abandoned, fixed on a purpose that no longer had meaning. I took them in, gave them new purpose. I did not create them, but yes, they are mine.
They're Abaddon's. I saw them forged.
They were his once, I won't deny it. He created them as assistants to carry out his work on Eora. But he has long been the overseer of progress in the world. Leaving things behind has always been his way. I allow him to leave his past in my care, so that it does not hold him back.
You and Abaddon have a unique connection then.
I suppose we do. But then, the gods have always been able to accomplish far greater things when working together.
Nearby, you see a shark pass through a school of fish. The fish scatter, evading the predator. I don't know what that's supposed to symbolize here. I had something else to discuss about the Eyeless.
Speak your mind.
You haven't given me the whole truth about the Eyeless, have you?
Careful what you accuse a god of, mortal.
The water around you is suddenly icy. You can feel it sap the heat from your veins. Abaddon didn't abandon those creatures. You made him forget them. Otherwise, he might remember how he died.
And what if I did, mortal? It does him no harm to forget. On the contrary, it lifts a burden. If Abaddon remembered, it would threaten the harmony between the gods. It was not so long ago that conflict between us led to disaster in your world, and the death of one of our number.
Is that the, that's Widewind, right?
Memory is but an image we create to make sense of the present. It carries no truth or meaning but what we ascribe. A slight alteration to it is a small price to pay for peace.
It's wrong to deceive him. I expected better from a god. But the people of Aeora are better off with him not remembering. That's all that matters. I don't think Klasia is so high and mighty and thinks so highly of herself that she would openly ridicule a god, right? Openly like that. I mean, she's kind of teetering the line of it. Obviously, she's not a follower of Andra, so if this was Margaret, it would be a whole different story. I'd be like, yes, ma'am. Whatever you say. If the people of Aeora are better off with him not remembering, but how does she know that? How does she know what will happen? She doesn't. She's using her memories to say what's going to happen. She's a hypocrite. I'll take that over another war, I suppose.
The peace between the gods is already fragile. It will not withstand another shock.
I had something else to discuss about the Eyeless. What new purpose did you give them?
Some things that are forgotten must never be remembered. Not merely for the benefit of those who forgot, but for the entire world. There can be no second thoughts, no sympathy or stays of execution. The Eyeless were born to fulfill this task, though even their creator did not know it.
You mean they killed...
They are single-minded and relentless.
You mean they kill those who remember what you want forgotten?
They do not flinch when called upon to do what is necessary. Kith owe them a great debt for the troubles they have hidden away.
I'm sure. I want to ask you about something else. My perception's so low. I need you to call off the Eyeless.
On the contrary, mortal, their work must continue. Far too much was uncovered while they lay dormant.
They draw attention to the very things you wish hidden. In my dreams, I have seen them swarming over the Direwood.
Those who know too much of the White Forge will be washed clean from Aeora, and then the Eyeless shall rest once more.
This isn't some lone tribe of dwarves. The Forge sees visitors from all over now. The Eyeless will tear the Direwood apart. It will never be forgotten. The sea life around you stirs back and forth, agitated, restless.
Even if it is as you say, there is nothing that can be done. The Eyeless do not think for themselves. They have only the purpose that is given to them. They do not stop until the purpose is fulfilled. They will not change course now for me or anyone. I am sorry.
This was your doing. You must intervene. Kowtow said they could be called off. If you won't stop them, I will. Kowtow said they could be called off.
Only if those they pursue are no longer a threat. The Raid Sarens were stopped before they could take the White Forge. In your case, Watcher, you are well beyond that now. And if what you say is true, then the Dyrwood is as well.
This was your doing. You must intervene.
The interventions of gods seldom work out in anyone's favor. Our touch is too heavy. The world crumbles beneath it. It is why we so often enlist the help of mortals. They execute our wishes with greater care. I have done far too much already.
If you won't stop them, I will.
Your determination is commendable, but the eyeless number in the thousands. You will need more than strength or luck.
The help of a god would be most welcome. I'll take whatever I can get. It may cost me my life, but I will do what I must. This is your mess. You'd better have something to offer. I'll sacrifice every life from Starward to Catanua if need be. Damn. How do we want to respond here? I keep trying to think of the aggressive, cunning options. Obviously, number 5 feels like the aggressive option. But that's not what Klessi would say. Number 3 just sounds badass. I think we're going to go with number 4. I think Klessi is getting kind of frustrated with Andra at the moment. This is your mess. You'd better have something to offer.
I will give you what aid I can. I bade the eyeless to remain hidden when at rest. They are gathered in the hollow of a great rock, splintered from Ione Brother. It lies in a flooded crater known as Kairon's Scar. Know too that they were built to answer the call of their master's hammer. When they hear it strike, they come to its aid. If you were to take that piece of his hammer from here and reshape it in Abaddon's forge into a likeness of the original, you might be able to call them to you. But destroying them would be another matter. I know of one way, but only from the center of the Lion's Den. Only with their master's hammer in your service. If you can do all this, if you can reshape what remains of Abaddon's hammer and bring it inside their lair, I can instruct you there on what you would need to do.
It would be easier if you told me now.
Nothing I say will make sense until you see it for yourself, mortal. We share a common purpose now. I will see you through it when the time comes.
I will remake the hammer in the White Forge and stop the eyeless.
If you do not, be assured, they will come for you as they did for the Pargrunen.
An uneasy turbulence disturbs the calm like an unwelcome thought.
Careful as you approach the lake. When I claimed the eyeless, I made sure they would not be discovered while they slept. Many of my most devoted followers stand watch there. They will not allow you near.
I mean, you could tell them to let me through.
And there is something far worse. Something more fearsome and dangerous than any eyeless. Let us hope you do not attract its attention.
Huh? Oh god, it's gonna be one of the super tough fights, isn't it? I was just thinking this all sounded too easy. And there's nothing you can do. What is it? More dangerous? You just can't add that in there casually. Let's go with number 3. And place of an answer, a sudden surge in the current from beneath sends you hurtling upward. The surface above you approaches fast, shifting and glimmering like quicksilver. You emerge soaking wet on the stone floor of the reliquary, gasping for breath as if you'd been holding it for hours. Alright, she's done talking to me. So we're standing in the skull of Abaddon right now. That's something, huh? Okay. Gain a whole bunch of experience. Reforge Abaddon's hammer. That part sounds really cool. Lair of the Eyeless. Reforge Abaddon's hammer. The White Forge will enable me to shape the fragments into a likeness of the original. Cool, cool, cool.
Hey.
Oh. Quest done. After return... Oh, we got another diving helmet. After traveling north from Godhammer Citadel, Durrance arrived in the Raid Saren port city of Benhalt. Several of the pirates had landed there and sold much of the stolen booty. Tips and rumors from other merchants and criminal elements led Durrance to the Bone Isles, a small archipelago northwest of Raid Saris. The more foolhardy pirates put up a fight, but most of them fled with small scraps of cargo. In the end, Durrance managed to recover over half of what was stolen. One item, a small curious diving bell, went unclaimed by the conglomerate of merchants that had paid for the recovery. Cool. Awesome. And our form is completed, right? I remember seeing that happen. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get the Artificer's Hall. Allow you to buy traps. Yep, let's get that. Okay. I guess we'll look around here a little bit. There's a couple of things around here, right? Where does this go? Does this go back down? I don't remember, like, there being anything up. That was really cool, though. That was really interesting. So, Abaddon was also killed. Where are we? Oh. Okay, go back up. So we gotta forge the hammer, go into the center of the eyeless layer, and then do something. And there's apparently something even greater, a greater threat out there somewhere. So that's fun. We all love greater threats. Alright, I want to go see what's down this way. This actually might lead into his chambers. Now I'm thinking of the positioning and everything, because wasn't his chamber... It looked like there were like some steps out of the High Abbot's chamber that we couldn't actually activate. Yep. So he had like I could have just walked up those. Inconsistencies. Plot holes. Something. I suppose the idea maybe was that there was either a barrier there, or maybe there was a bookshelf nearby. Maybe it was supposed to be like a hidden passage or something. I don't know. Alright, and last but not least, up the steps. Travel directly to the foundry in Durgan's Battery. Yeah, let's do that. Hopefully it's not being attacked already. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably going to be attacked already, isn't it? Oh boy. Oh no. We're good. Probably want to sleep, don't we? Are there camping supplies in here? Let's go ahead and rest. I wish I knew what those things were. We'll just leave it as Wilders. There we go. Alright. Time to reforge the hammer. Incredible heat ripples upward from the white forge and laps against your exposed skin. The fragments of Abaddon's hammer grows warm in your hands as if in recognition. It is only a fraction of the size of the original, but there is metal enough to create a hammer fist for a person of your size to wield. In this forge, the fragment could be shaped anew, recreate Abaddon's hammer. You call to mind every memory you have witnessed of the great hammer. The images coalesce and take shape in your mind's eye. You know every curve, every engraving. Even as a shapeless lump of metal, you can see the fragment for what it is meant to become. The fragment is slow to heat, even in the white forge, and quick to cool as you work it against the anvil. Sweat drizzles down your body and puddles at your feet. Your arms grow sore with each swing of your forge hammer until you can barely lift it. Minutes turn to hours. As Abaddon's hammer begins to take shape, the ring of your own hammer against it takes on a familiar tone, one that you have heard in your dream. With each strike, an image flashes in your mind. It is hazy at first, but it gains detail as the hammer begins to resemble the original. Over time, the image becomes a frozen landscape centered around a crater lake. Eyeless patrol its frozen surface in droves, and this can only be the place Andra described, Caverns Scar. The eyeless pause here and there when you strike and look up, as though hearing the echo of the wind. Or on the wind. In the distance, as more details appear, you can see other landmarks, Stalwart, Durgan's Battery. And you understand where the lake lies in the White March, where you must take this hammer. Finally, with the careful etching of the last detail, with your chisel, the hammer is completed. No sooner do you make the final mark than you feel a pure, radiant energy pulsing from within it, like a mechanical heartbeat. There is an indescribable beauty to the shape and the weighting and the weighting of the design. It feels as if this is the realization of the metal's purpose. You take up the hammer, and its power rushes over you in waves, and it shakes your body so hard you nearly drop to your knees. The tremor passes, but the surge of power remains. The hair on your arms stand on end. In your hand is a faithful recreation of a divine instrument, and then you immediately throw it down so you can hold on to that damn cursed Estoc. Ah! That's a good-looking hammer. You bash somebody's skull with that. I hope they appreciate it. Cool. Nice music going on with it. Hello?
I've heard enough.
The sounds of an argument reach you from the stairs. Daron marches into the room, arms crossed, while Wingra bounds along behind him.
This threatens all of us now.
Matron Berrigan. Matron Berrigan lumbers after Daron and Wingra, flanked by two stout ogres. Wingra sees you and points enthusiastically.
See, Darian, she'll tell ya. We can stop them.
Tension crackles in the air. Daron whirls and cuts Wingra off with a chopping motion.
If she's seen them, she knows better.
What's going on here?
Something killed a whole crew of hunters out in the wood. Tore them apart like dolls, insects.
Despite his steady posture, his eyes flit and flicker like flies, and his upper lip shines with sweat. Berrigan mutters something to her escort, and they snort in agitation.
I told ya. All we gotta do is get him in range of these cannons, and then we blast them.
She brings her hands together in a loud clap.
We don't even know what they are.
He shuts his eyes and breathes loudly through his nose. I do. Everyone turns to look at you. They're known as the Eyeless, but what they are isn't important. What matters is that they'll destroy us all, and more if they aren't stopped. They're the playthings of foolish and irresponsible gods. And if you want to live, you'll shut up and listen to me from now on. The gods sent them as a punishment for your bickering. They're known as the Eyeless.
The destruction my dreams warned me of.
Berrigan's gaze is distant with horror. Suddenly, she rounds on Wingra and Daron.
And your greed and recklessness have brought them on us all.
She rolls her shoulders back and bares her teeth at the two villagers. Rage hangs around her like a musk. Daron and Wingra each take a step back and square off against the ogres.
You burning our village didn't help matters none.
Wingra's feral grimace exposes needle-sharp teeth.
It wasn't my clan that attacked you.
Her nostrils flare.
No difference. One ogre stinks as bad as the next.
Oh boy. Calm down, everyone. None of that matters now. Berrigan's right. You wanted something you didn't understand, and it brought trouble. Your interests have never aligned with stalwarts, Berrigan. I doubt that's changed. Enough. You're all idiots arguing over ancient history at a time like this. Berrigan, did you come all this way out here just to say I told you so? You may be right, Berrigan, but this isn't helping. Perhaps you should go. Enough. Daron and Wingra grumble, shifting on their feet and glaring sullenly. After a pause, Berrigan looks back at you.
I came to offer my clan's help.
She folds her hands. The others gawk at her.
The White March has been our home for centuries. We'll defend it alongside you.
The ogres flanking her grunt their assent. Your aid would be welcome. She presents an ancient banded horn in both of her calloused hands, holding it out to you.
Sound it anywhere in the White March, and 3 of my best warriors will be at your side. Your battles become ours.
Sweet. Later. Can I take that? Does it have to only be the White March? Can you guys just like come down into the Direwood and help me out too? That'd be nice. Oh wow.
What's your plan for dealing with them exactly?
The Eyeless are hidden at Caven's Scar. I'll face them there. Wingra and Daron gape at each other in disbelief.
That lake's notorious. Folk never come back from that.
She breaks off, her eyes suddenly wide. Yeah, that's why.
Oh.
An awkward silence follows. Wingra clears her throat noisily.
You know, those heavy cannons you fixed might come in handy.
She grins a mischievous twinkle. She grins a mischievous twinkle in her eye. Daron starts to groan, and she holds up both hands.
Hey, hear me out. should be just in range for those guns.
Really?
You just point out your target and I'll do the rest.
If those things are on the move, we don't have much time. If you're really gonna stop them, take this. It's the best of the ore we've pulled from Stalwart's mines.
He gives you a solemn nod.
It's not much, but it's good enough to make the old Pargrunen Smiths proud.
Okay, we got all our gifts. Gifts from the gods, gifts from the ogres, gifts from the battery, gifts from Stalwart. You may call upon the aid of crag ogres by using Berrigan's Battlehorn in Caverns Canyon. You may call upon the cannons of Durgan's Battery by using the Heavy Cannon Blast ability in Caverns Scar. And we got Durgan Iron. Okay. Okay. Cool. Where's this hammer at? Who's got it? Is that it right there? Soulbound. That's a warhammer. Can you use warhammers? If you can use warhammers, you're using this bad boy. Where would that be at? Do you not have any of it? Huh. Well, I guess there's one way to find out. So, we're going to be looking at this. Accuracy and damage, right? Oh, it's a two-hander. Oh. I want to use this so badly. Gray Sleeper. Freaking. No, I want to see what it looks like. Okay. Look at that thing. Damn, that looks cool. Ah. I'm gonna hold on to it. Maybe I'll wear it eventually. Looks really cool though. Okay. I bet a hammer like that could crack a dragon skull in one blow. Hey, don't give me any ideas. Okay. Let us... We got a couple things to do before we head out. Let's do it before we end the episode here. First, I want to enchant your armor. Quality is as good as it's going to be, but we want some attribute bonuses. Let's go ahead and get +2 in resolve. Right there. Enchant that. And then we can get... I don't know if this is going to be our final set of armor. So I'm not going to do that yet. But we can get... These guys, they had mace hands, so we're going to get crush proof. Just like that. Just like so. And... we could eventually get this up to superb. Which would be nice. Okay, but that's fine for now. I don't think anybody else got anything new in terms of things to enchant. Okay.
Hey.
Let's go up here. There's a forge, and we can craft another one of those.
Hey.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Next episode, we're going to go potentially finish the White March DLC. Now, we do have, besides what we have here, the layer of the Eyeless, we still have the Gray Sleeper. I'm thinking I'm going to look up where that happens. I'll be really pissed. The problem is if it's at this lake that I can unlock this, that would annoy me that I looked it up. But I really want to get rid of it because I think maybe I'd even use that Warhammer as my weapon for a while. I don't know. We need to go back to having a gun. Maybe we'll give the Warhammer to Pelagina. Or Darren. Not Darren. Durance. Darren. Wrong game. But we also have Black Oath. I don't... At the mill in Direford. At the mill in Direford and finishing the job. Okay, so that's back in... Where's Direford at? The mill in Direford. I don't remember Direford. Have we been to Direford before? I don't know. But we'll have to do that too. But that's... I think that's outside the White March, maybe. But yeah, that's it. And then we also have Kragenholt to finish, but... Who knows, we're not going to be able to do that. Maybe after I get to level 14. Which, I'm guessing finishing these 2 quests, or finishing the main quest, is going to get us there. Which is cool. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. Until then, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys later.